in the wrestling world is defined by ups and downs of companies. There are guys that float around from company to company that really define wrestling, like Tommy Cornell, like Sean McFly, Champagne Lover, those kind of guys. But what really defines professional wrestling and what's always remembered is what company was big when. Therefore, looking at companies as they're in their rise or in their fall is one of the more interesting parts of professional wrestling. However, within these rises, there are always tipping points, always pivots, always points where a company changes irreversibly. For Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, that night is tonight. Tonight, feuds will end and begin. Tonight, the company will go on to a brand new era of glory and prosperity. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it all begins again. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first Mid-Atlantic Wrestling show at Regional. We are at the Ace Speedway. We are at a 5,000 capacity stadium. We are ready, willing, and able to compete with some of the bigger boys of professional wrestling at the moment. In our main event of the evening, Logan Wolfsbane defends his Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Championship against Ernest Youngman, two of the greatest athletes in this business today. Also, Acid and Stuntman, the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, defend their Tag Team Championships against the Blazing Saddles, Cowboy Buck Winchester and Cowboy Brad Blaze. Scythe goes one-on-one with Davis Wayne Newton to determine the number one contender to the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Championship. Frosier continues his crusade against George Wolf. Am I going to cough a second? His crusade against Team Progress with a match against George Wolf. Also, we have a number of showcase matches. The CZCW Tag Team Championships will be on the line as Al Coleman and Frantic Ali defend against the Dynamite Express. And I think that's right. And the World Tag Team Championships are on the line as Rogue and Charlie Thatcher defend against the Ring Generals. And finally, the 4C Championship is on the line as Chris Flynn defends against American Elemental. All that and more tonight at where it all begins again. The new beginning at the Speedway begins now. We open up the show with a 55C- as Charlie Thatcher and Rogue make defense number 4 of their World Tag Team Championships. The Ring Generals try to use their more advanced tag team experience by working down Charlie Thatcher, who's obviously, he's older, he's an elderly gentleman, he's a little tired during this match, and he tries to, and the Ring Generals try to work down Charlie Thatcher in their corner, isolate the ring, and really grind out a victory from Charlie Thatcher, a second World Tag Team Championship victory for them at the capacity 5,000 sold out Ace Speedway here. Very, very excited for that. But in the end, Charlie Thatcher gets the hot tag and Rogue comes in like a house on fire. Like a ton of bricks as he wails on the Ring Generals. First on Deadly Dean, then on Marvelous Marv Stadler. Big hot tag, and in the end he tags in Charlie Thatcher to pick up the win with the Crusher leg drop and retain their World Tag Team Championships. Yes. And then, defending their Coastal Zone Tag Team Championships, Frantic Ali and Al Coleman, or Ass Holman as I like to call him, defeat the Dynamite Express when Ass Holman defeats Sid Collier by submission with that ankle brace. A lot of grappling here. Sid Collier tries to use his Sam Keith taught grappling to work down Ass Holman and Frantic Ali, but Ass Holman's able to go toe-to-toe with Sid Collier. Ass Holman, one of the better grapplers out in California there, and he works down Sid Collier, and in the end he does pick up the victory with an ankle brace. In a match that decent wrestling but not much heat, Chris Flynn defends his 4C title against American Elemental. American Elemental trying to bring the high flying mixed in with that fluid technical wrestling, but Chris Flynn able to go toe-to-toe with American Elemental in technical wrestling, given his Canadian heritage. Canadians in the Seaverse very much well known for their technical wrestling, at least the Stone side of Canada. Of course, you've got the Cult side of Canada, much more well known for their brawling. But, Chris Flynn able to go toe-to-toe with American Elemental and bring in that brawling edge. Chris Flynn almost the best of Canada, bringing in that brawling edge to really set American Elemental off his game, really set him off. And in the end, he does pick up the victory, retaining his 4C title with a Flintlock. And now it's time to go on to our main event quartet. Starting, of course, with Fro Shore, who was put out on the shelf for over 4 months with an injury, a broken leg, thanks to Logan Wolfsbane and his vicious, brutal ways. He's come back. He wants to exact revenge for what Logan Wolfsbane has done to him, but he cannot quite get hold of that number 1 contendership, and so he has to settle for former World Heavyweight Champion George Wolf. And in a decent match, Fro Shore defeats George Wolf by pinfall with a sure thing. This is a back-and-forth brawl, vicious and brutal Memphis style. Fro Shore pulling no punches, brutally smacking George Wolf about the face. Really nasty strikes to the big bad Wolf there. And George Wolf manages to stay on his feet for a lot of it. Manages to bounce back with some big hits of his own. Massive lefts and rights and lefts and rights, and the brutal physical strength of George Wolf manages to keep him in the match for a while, but Fro Shore will never say die, and every time he gets knocked to the mat, he springs back to his feet and brawls with George Wolf, back and forth as Fro Shore shows his charismatic edge, his charismatic victory, and in the end, lifts George Wolf up for that Death Valley driver, that sure thing, and picks up the victory in 14 minutes and 54 seconds. And after the match, Fro Shore gets on the mic and says, George, I don't hate you. I hate Logan Wolfsbane, because Logan Wolfsbane, you put hard times on Fro Shore and his family, bro. And I will never forgive you for that. And I've been chasing you for 6 months, but I will never give up the chase. Every setback just makes me hungrier. Every setback just makes me want to extract even more revenge. And although I got rent piling up on my door, I got letters of eviction piling up on my door, I've just got to run. I got to keep looking forward, and I keep running towards you. Because quite frankly, that's all I got left to fight for, is exacting that revenge and winning that Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Championship. So Logan Wolfsbane, bro, you're next. And we will now move on to the number 1 contenders match. It is Scythe versus Davis Wayne Newton. But apparently before the match, Davis Wayne Newton was making his entry, and Scythe just brutally destroys him. Just nasty big boot on the entrance ramp, throwing his head down onto the solid metal grate of the floor, and just raking his face in it back and forth across the metal grate, busting open Davis Wayne Newton, and then eventually a nasty DDT straight down on the metal grate of the entrance ramp, and Davis Wayne Newton is carried off, and Scythe seems to be quite pleased with himself. I guess we're going to move on to the Tag Team Championship match, as Devil May Care defeat Blazing Saddles in 13 minutes and 45 seconds when Acid defeats Cowboy Brad Blaze by pinfall with a jump the shark. The Blazing Cowboys, the Blazing Saddles try to go with their brawling style, trying to hit their jabs on the tag team of Acid and Stuntman, but Acid and Stuntman, they take those jabs to the face, and they just keep running at you. They keep moving at you because they don't care how many hits they have to take. They are going for glory, and they put their bodies on the line. They attack with reckless abandon. They attack with everything they've got. They fly at their opponents. They put their bodies on the line. They put all the risk in their maneuvers, and in the end, they managed to set off the Cowboys, the Blazing Saddles. They managed to put them off their game and pick up the victory with that jump the shark, making defense number 5 of their tag team titles. And Davis Wayne Newton comes to the interview area and says, "You want to put me down, Scythe? Well, you don't know who you're dealing with. I will not go down so easily. You want to attack me? You want to brutalize me? You want to send me to the back in a stretcher? All that does is make me hungrier. Do you know how many setbacks I've had in my life? Do you know how many schools I got kicked out of? How many wrestling companies I got fired from? You think one little DDT is going to put me down? Well, you are sorely mistaken. Now get out here so I can whoop your ass." Davis Wayne Newton fired up. Can he earn that number 1 contendership? No, as Scythe manages to pick apart a battered and bruised Davis Wayne Newton. He never really had a chance. Never really had a chance, and in the end, he gets put down with that underworld spike. And Scythe is the number 1 contender, but who will he face at the Night of the Champions? Because it is now time for our main event of the evening. Logan Wolfsbane gets on the mic and says, "Ernest Youngman, Ernest Youngman, we fight tonight, and we are two of the most momentum-filled superstars in sports entertainment today. I look at you and I see one of the greatest grapplers in history, one of the most decorated men in this territory. You've won the Ripcord Invitational this year. You've won the Sam Keith Classic this year. You're a 3-time world heavyweight champion. In so many ways, you're the man. But what you are lacking is that gold around your waist. And I know when you look at me and you look at a guy, the greatest Mid-Atlantic wrestling champion in history, you don't know if you can beat me. Because I am a physical specimen. I work damn hard and I look better than you. I look better than every single one of the people in the audience today. And I've had all the advice I need to whoop your ass. And I tell you, the names I've beaten, for sure, Island Boy Apollo, El Mitico Jr., American Elemental, Nicholas Lopez, Marvelous Mar Stadler, Huracan, and you. I'm the greatest Mid-Atlantic wrestling champion in history. I'm one of the longest reigning Mid-Atlantic wrestling champions in history. And tonight, I continue my legacy. Because at the end of the night, the words you're going to hear are words that you should be damn used to by now. And still, Mid-Atlantic wrestling champion. Because there is nobody in this territory or the next that can dethrone me. And you've said it once before, Ernest Youngman, and I will repeat your words back to you. To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and right now, you're looking at the man. And I will be the man as long as I damn well please, because there isn't a single soul in this business who can beat Logan Wolfsbane. Ernest Youngman gets on the mic and says, Logan Wolfsbane, you're confident, I like that. I see so much of myself in you. You're a guy who likes to go out there and he needs to say to himself, he's the greatest of all time, and I get that. I do, because you're looking at a man who needs to go out there, who needs to have a smile on his face and stare directly into the hard cam and say, I'm the wrestling machine. I'm the best there has ever been. But I gotta tell you, I'm not scared. I know I can beat you, because I've beaten so much better. I've beaten so much more, and I've gone across so many challenges, and you may be good, kid, but I am great. And you said it before. You said it before. To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I don't think you're the man. I think you're looking at the man. I think you're looking at a 3-time world heavyweight champion. You're looking at a Sam Keith Classic winner, a Ripcord Invitational Challenge winner. And I gotta say, I'm still the man. Because giants may fall and diamonds may fade, but Ernest Youngman is forever, baby. And tonight, I get to show you why I'm called the assassin of the squared circle. I get to reassert why I'm the greatest grappler in this business. And I gotta tell you, this match is gonna be one hell of a contest. By the end of the night, I'm gonna stand at the end of it. The man, Ernest Youngman, the greatest there's ever been. Ace Speedway, are you ready? And Ernest Youngman emerges to a small firework display. And it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for our main event of the evening. In a 79B, superb wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Ernest Youngman defeats Logan Wolfsbane with the hit. Wins the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship. Ernest Youngman and Logan Wolfsbane, they start the match with hate-filled brawl, back and forth with their punches, nasty strikes to each other's chins, just trying to get that advantage, trying to get that weakness to exploit. But eventually, neither man gives an inch, neither man gives a second. And they realize that if they're going to get that weakness, if they're going to get that advantage, if they're going to get that upper hand, they're going to have to make it. It's not going to just appear. And so they both start to go for takedowns. They both start to go for their grappling style. And Ernest Youngman, of course, we've said it before, with a wink and a smile and a nod to the crowd, he locks in every single submission maneuver under the sun, working over limb after limb after limb. But Logan Wolfsbane, he's got that power, he's got that strength, and he can break out of holds that guys like Ernest Youngman would have to escape out of. And he powers out of every hold that Ernest Youngman tries to put on him. Logan Wolfsbane is a perfect counter to Ernest Youngman. But Ernest Youngman, we've seen it before, he's got that heart. He's got the fire of a world champion. And indeed, every step of the way, he powers up. And he goes back to work. Because one little setback isn't going to set off the wrestling machine. It's going to set off the greatest there's ever been. Ernest Youngman is going to keep fighting and keep putting together sequences of professional wrestling that would dazzle even the most stone-hearted stone. And indeed, Ernest Youngman manages to put together some beautiful sequences, but so does Logan Wolfsbane. He hits Ernest Youngman with a variety of suplexes, nasty Germans landing Ernest Youngman on his head, nasty vertical suplex directly down, sending Ernest Youngman's head through a loop. And Logan Wolfsbane, the youngster, the youngest MAW champion in history, a 1.5 year reign with some of the greatest names in history falling to him, is putting on a tour de force here tonight, with every step of the way matching the greatest technical wrestler in the business today, escaping out of every hole he could possibly put on him, and throwing his elbows, his forearms, his punches. Logan Wolfsbane proves he belongs. But in the end, Ernest Youngman shows why he's a world champion, shows why he's got that passion, he's got that heart, and he's got that ability, and he manages to turn the tables, and he manages, with a wink and a smile, to lock in that crossface chicken wing and wear down the champion, wear down Logan Wolfsbane. But Logan Wolfsbane has that heart, he has that ferocity, he has that young brash spirit, and he will not give up, and he powers. He gets to his feet with Ernest still in that chicken wing, he powers out of that crossface chicken wing, and he goes for that belly to belly suplex, but Ernest lands on his feet and hits that double underhook powerbomb. That hit, the hit, and becomes, for the first time, after a very long time of being here, for the first time, Ernest Youngman is the Mid-Atlantic champion. Logan Wolfsbane's reign comes to an end, and ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a thumbs up, check out the rest of the series, subscribe if you haven't already, and yep, this is where it all begins again. The Ace Speedway. It's time to start running shows in Chicago. You guys voted. You wanted to see Chicago over the Southeast, even though the Southeast is now the most important region in the U.S. Damn you guys. But Chicago it is. We're going to start actually on next Friday in-game. I'm going to be going to Chicago. I'm not recording them. I'm going to be doing some gamey stuff on those shows, actually, like using guys like 4 times for skill gains and tag team experience and stuff. I'm just going to be very unscrupulous with those shows. They're going to be absolutely terrible, so I'm not going to end up recording them, and I might end up doing the yearly recaps. I was thinking about that, but then I've kind of gone to the point where I'm like, maybe that's not actually a good idea, but maybe we'll start doing it after next year. We'll have to see. But we're regional. Yay! It's time to begin our growth towards cult. It's time to continue moving forward, and I hope you guys have enjoyed so far, and will enjoy the rest of the journey. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time.